Internet, and today's video is going to be a Top 5 Wednesday. This is a Goodreads group run by Sam over at Thoughts on Tomes. I will link both down below. So, today's topic is Top 5 Favorite Fantasy or Science Fiction Books. For this list, I scoured the internet, my shelves, to bring to you the top 5 most obscure fiction/sci-fi books that I love. I wanted to try to make this conversation a little more interesting by choosing books that I don't think are talked about very often in the books verse. Number 5, Lissan Norman's Shalom series. Now this is a series that depicts 3 species: a feline species, a lizard species, and the human species. So throughout the series we see how these 3 species interact and the cultures behind them. Now 2 main driving points for this series is telepathic powers. Those telepathic powers are held by the human species, who do not see this as a great gift, and it is not common in the feline species, where this is a pretty common gift and very acknowledged. The second main plot point for this series is a war between the lizard species against the feline and human species, and we discover a lot about the cultures between all 3 species, and we figure out a lot about the characteristics and the history of all 3 species. And it's kind of a depiction of how similar different beings can be to each other. Number 4 is another sci-fi series, and this one is by Octavia E. Butler. And this is her Xenogenesis series. The basic story for this whole series is an alien species comes to Earth and starts to abduct humans. The whole point for abducting these humans is to get their cells. Now these aliens have special tentacles that can connect to the human body and basically break down all the diseased cells. So they get rid of cancer and they cure humans of all their diseases. Now the reasons why the aliens have decided to do this is because the human species has been dying off because of their dangerous diseases, and their planet has been dying. So this species decided that they needed the new cell material, and the humans were going to die anyway without their help, so they want to integrate humans into their own species to create a new species, so to say. Now, of course, there's a lot of problems with this. The humans are less than okay with this situation. The third book on this list, we're moving now to fantasy, is by Christian Castor, and I'm sure you guys have heard of the series, the Graceling series, but the one that I want to talk about today is Fire, the second book and companion novel to Graceling. Now, in the world of Graceling, we are introduced to characters who have graces, and they have special abilities. Now, while Graceling and Fire take place in the same world, as in the same continent, they don't necessarily take place in the same country or have the same world building. In Graceling, people can have graces, as stated before, but in the world of Fire, there are monsters, and that's why I love this book so much more. Now, in this world, that there are monster counterparts to normal species. So there's wolves, and then there's monster wolves. There's humans, and then there's monster humans. Now, the monster counterparts are more colorful, more dangerous, and more deadly than the normative counterparts. And we follow the story of a human monster. She is struggling with the fact that she is a monster. She naturally can seduce, manipulate, and control the people around her just by being there. It's part of the chemicals, let's say, of the monsters. They just have a natural seduction to them, a natural pheromone that draws people to them, that allows them to manipulate others. And this particular girl is struggling with her monster nature because she has seen the negative sides. Now, the real reason why I love this book more is because of my interest in villain origin stories. And in Graceling and in Bitterblue, the third book in this series, we see one common villain, but it is in Fire that we see his origin. And I just love origin stories, like villains as kids. That's my lifeblood. Number to is Tamora Pierce's Small Protector series. Now, Tamora Pierce has a habit of expanding worlds throughout different series following different characters. The Small Protector series is the second series in one particular universe. We first are introduced in this universe in Elena. I'll show the cover over here. I'm sorry if I got the wrong name. Now, in this series, a girl hides herself and disguises herself as a boy to go to night school. She becomes a knight and then later is found out to be female, but she was knighted already. Small Protector comes after that, when females are recognized as being able to be knights, and it follows our character as she is determined to go to night school as the very first recognized female in night school. In the final series, it's going to seem a little random, and I don't think many people would expect this, because many people don't give props to children's literature, and I'm going to go for my final selection and my very favorite because of what it implies, Mary Pope Osborne's Magic Tree House series. Now, this is a kids series following two siblings who discover one day a magic tree house. And when they enter in this magic tree house, it's like a library. They open one book and they find themselves in this book and in this world. All of a sudden, the book is just as real to them as anything else. And it always entails their adventures, jumping into stories and experiencing these stories. And the reason why this is number one for me is because this is every reader's fondest dream, to open a book and find yourself within the world, not just mentally entranced with this world, but physically entranced, breathing in the air, talking to the characters, and just living the life in this book. And the best benefit to this story is that with the Magic Tree House, you enter the book, you live the life, and then you go home. So you get the best of both worlds, let's say. You get to explore realms of possibilities that would have never been acceptable for you to before, visit eras that have long disappeared, and be able to go home to your comfy bed and sleep away in the 21st century with none of those very real dangers. Just because you visit dinosaurs in the morning doesn't mean you have to sleep with them at night. And those are my top 5 favorite fantasy/science fiction books. If you think that I made the wrong choices, comment below, let me know. If you've heard of any of these books or interested in any of these books, comment down below and let me know what you thought about my choices. If you have any suggestions for ones that could have been better, again, comment down below. Just tell me, what do you think? If you like what you're seeing here and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Ring the little bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. All my links are in the description box down below. And that is it. So, goodbye, Internet.